Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and comment below. My Instagram's Beauty Doll by Sarah. This is my new client and she has tons of regrowth and it's been a quarantine here, so as you can see her hair has not been loved on, and I'm ready to take this challenge and help her feel beautiful and blonde again. The only thing is she doesn't want to be committed to being a full-on blonde. She does want a balayage look. So we're gonna definitely blend this out and make it low maintenance for her, but still be pretty much blonde. So I'm gonna start off and show you guys my favorite products. This is Blonde Me, my favorite, and of course Olaplex. I'm gonna be using 30 volume. So I'm going to start from the nape and work my way up to the apex of the head and pretty much get rid of all this dark. So what I like to do with a foilage, which is basically a balayage but with foils, I like to tease, I like to slice, I like to weave. So I just like to change it up every few foils so it looks dimensional. Go ahead and focus on just covering the dark and trying my best not to overlap on the blonde. Of course, if it does slightly overlap, I'm not too concerned about it because I have the Olaplex in there to protect it, and just focusing on really getting all this dark out. After I'm done covering the dark, I'm going to go ahead and move the blonde outside of the foil so it doesn't touch the lightener. And I'm going to go ahead and fold it so that it stays nice and snug and incubates that heat for a brighter lift. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go from a straight across where the nape is to a V section, so it looks like it was sun-kissed by the sun and not so uniformed as if it's highlights. I want it to look like the hair has been sun-kissed. So I'm going to go ahead and take these V sections that I've done and I'm going to weave it and then slightly tease it so that it's nice and blended effortlessly. It doesn't look so uniformed. I'm going to go ahead and focus on the dark, trying my best not to overlap. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the same on the other side. Go ahead and weave it and then slightly tease it.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
And again, we're just breaking up all this darkness in her hair, but still leaving some dark so that we have that dimension.
All we'll ever trust, yeah. No, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.
After I work on that V section, I'm going to go ahead and take my next section and I'm going to go straight across. As you can see, there is so much darkness within the hair, so we got to break all this up. The reason I like to alternate between chunky weaves versus very fine thin baby lights, I like it to look dimensional, but also I'm going to be sharing a tip and trick with you guys towards the end. You'll see what I'm going to do so it doesn't look like Kelly Clarkson highlight type of chunky.
I don't wanna miss a beat, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.
As you can see, I really take my time by trying to make sure it's fully saturated so that I get that full lift and there's no bleed marks or anything that I'm missing. I'm going to go ahead with my next section, and instead of doing just straight across, I'm going to this time do a slant, kind of like a V, but you can't do a V when it's in the middle of the head because it's so wide. So we're going to do a slant. That way it doesn't look so uniformed and it looks more like a balayage.
Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
As you guys can see, there's still so much darkness in the middle of the head, so I'm going to go ahead and do a straight across section and try to continue to move my way up, lightening, weaving, teasing, and slicing to get all these sections in the middle of the head really light because this is a lot of darkness going on.
And we fall and we rise through it all till we find what we want. Then we lose it all again. Your touch on my skin, pull me close, take me in. Just me, just you, lost in the moment. Lost in the moment. Nowhere left to run. Oh, trying to bide our time. We know it's all done. Take a bow, you win. Oh, swim against your tide. It keeps pulling me in. We fight and we fall. Can we rise through it all till we find what we want? Then we lose it all again. Your touch on my skin, pull me close, take me in. Just me, just you, lost in the moment. Lost in the moment. Lost in the moment. Though I've tried, I just keep falling all over again. And our hands are tight, can't fight it. Can we go through this again? Will we fight and we fall? Can we rise through it all till we find what we want?
As I'm getting closer to the top of the head, this is the most important spot because that's the spot you see and it's always showing, so I definitely want it to look nice and blended and seamless, low maintenance for her too. So I'm doing very fine weaves like baby lights and I'm teasing them, and I'll show you guys how I alternate between weaving and slicing and thicker weaves.
Lost in the moment. Lost in the moment.
closer to the top of the head, I actually like to do very messy weaves. I do very thin and thick, just so it gives it that balayage appearance. When I'm weaving, I try to make it appear to be like a W or a V. Moving on to the sides of her head, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I do a lot of slices since she really wants to be blonde around her face. This is known as the money piece. Again, I'm leaving a 1/2 inch to 1 inch in between each foil so that there's still dimension in her hair. What I typically like to do around the face is doing a slice, then a weave, weave, slice. I'm not too concerned concerned about getting super close to the scalp just because we're going to be doing another step after I finish her foils. I try my best not to get the baby hairs in the foils just because it will look like breakage. When I do weave her foils, I always make sure that there's at least a chunkier part near the front of the face, and I like to make sure it doesn't look so uniformed because then it will look like highlights, and that's not the look we're going for. Alright, now that I've foiled her whole head, I'm going to go ahead and let her process. And because I did start from the nape and I worked my way up and around, I'm going to rinse out each section and make sure it's not over processing, and I'll keep an eye on it and check it every few minutes. I want to make sure she's really blonde. But for now, I am going to be using my Redken Shades EQ formula 6N Moroccan Sand, and I'm going to be root tapping in between the foils and letting her process with that. Alright, so this is what it's looking like. It's like a pale yellow, just what we want for toning. And I'm going to go ahead and let Olaplex number 2 sit on her hair while I let that other section finish processing. And this is my formula I'm going to be using on her today. 10N, 9P, and 9V. And then I'm going to use Moroccan Sand as her root tap again. And yeah, this is going to be a beautiful formula. This is one of my favorites. So this is what it's looking like. I usually let the root tap sit on for about 10 minutes, and I also just keep an eye out on the blonde as I rub it and watch it, make sure it doesn't overprocess or turn gray, purple. Alright, so this is what it looks like right now while it's wet, and as you can see, my client does have curly frizzy hair, so she is also going to do in one service, we're going to do a Brazilian keratin treatment kind of blowout on her. We're going to tame that frizz, and we're going to get her hair looking nice and healthy. Once I'm done blow drying her and styling, I'll make sure to include some pictures and video footage of it in the daylight and also with my ring light.
The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust.
Alright, we just finished up and this is what it looks like while it's blown out and straight. And now she can have straight, frizz-free, smooth, shiny, healthy hair for up to 6 months. So yeah, her hair will dry like this and it's so worth it. All my clients love the keratin treatment. Alright guys, this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this hair tutorial on how I achieved this blonde balayage, aka foilage. It's pretty much just like highlights, but a little different, not as uniformed, and we use that root smudge, root tap. And of course, the reason I prefer to use foils versus clay lightener is because I love how the foils gets you the highest lift. Most of my clients that show me balayages want to be really blonde. So if you guys have a client that wants to be really blonde but also a balayage, I highly recommend using this technique. It's called the foilage, or a balayage with foils. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!
Around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on